Last month, Kelly Fellner became the new superintendent at the Springfield Armory. Her position is unique in a couple of ways. Not only will she have duties in Springfield, but also at the newly developed Coltsville site in Hartford, Connecticut. Fellner is also the first woman to be appointed superintendent at the Springfield Armory. And producer Dave Fraser spoke with her recently about her new role.
So the Armory really tells such a full story and an important story in the United States. It started as one of the first armories in the country, so it was very influential during the Revolutionary War and in the establishment of the country. And it was an active armory for the Army right up until the late 1960s. So this was the place that not only was it building up sort of the protection for the country, but it was also where researchers were here, where engineers were, and where, of course, people who were actually building and manufacturing the armaments were here too. I started in the Park Service about 30 years ago, right out of college, and I fell in love with the Park Service and made it a career. What it strikes me is that Springfield in this area is sort of, there's a lot of firsts here, right? So the Basketball Hall of Fame, and also I noticed that Holyoke is sort of the hometown of volleyball, and here at the Armory of some of the first armaments and the factory system building up here. And I think it is one of those hidden stories. And I think we have an advantage and sort of a reawakening here in Springfield with all of the museums here in town. And I think people are really looking for that connection of what sort of defines that place. And I think there's more than just the guns. So people, sort of that's the first impression. There's so much more to talk about. The thousands of workers who worked here, the people who invented the precision weapons that were built here, the other industries that built up around the Armory that really helped Springfield grow.
The story of Springfield Armory is a really fascinating one. It's a nationally important story, but it's also a very local story. One of those stories is the story of Thomas Blanchard. And so Thomas Blanchard's contribution to what Springfield Armory did was to build this machine, which was able to duplicate irregular shapes, in this case musket stocks. And this very machine right here went on the line at Springfield Armory down at the water shops in 1822. 14,000 people from the community here were working 24 hours a day, making M1 rifles for the U.S. Army during World War II to the tune of several hundred per hour, which is absolutely stunning in the fact that they were able to make such precision pieces in so short amount of time. But all that started right here at Springfield Armory with Thomas Blanchard.
When I first go into a park, to any park, I think the first thing that I like to do, and what I'm doing here, is listening a lot. So being able to listen to folks, understand what they're excited about, understand the stories, and see how we can actually contribute positively to the community and to the National Park Service. What you see in the museum is just a fraction of what is actually part of the collection of thousands of different types of weapons, and also archives of photos of workers and people who worked here. I definitely like urban parks. I sort of shocked some of my friends going from Colorado to the Northeast to actually work in these parks, but I've ended up being able to work in Boston and Lowell, in the New York City area, and also in Philadelphia. And I really love the fact that we can expose kids and people to national parks in their backyard. So it's more of a shock to people to realize that they have national parks right here in an urban area.